So thank you very much again to be there for the last session of today, the number 6. We arrived to the mid part of the training. This session is especially dedicated to the integration of hotel management systems. So not only property management systems Fidelio, Opera, etc., but also to integrate the door lock systems, door access systems. It's interesting in many projects to have this information. We will finally go back again to the web manager and take a look on what is the GRMS app, the guest room management system that NETx Automation has also in the projects. So it's also very interesting. As you can see in the image, I am showing you the knowledge base again, but specifically in the multi-protocol information, integration of different protocols, there is a specific part dedicated to this hotel management system integration, okay, created by our colleague Wolfgang. This is the technical director of NETx, and who is now in Dubai giving a presential training. So this is the reason why we cannot share this training. But we have a lot of interesting information here to show you. How is this hotel management integration done with NETx? We need again to talk about the global vision of a project. So this is very important because sometimes we miss this this global vision and we focus only the integration issues. No, we need to focus in this global vision for any kind of projects. NETx Automation is the BMS part, and it's solving a lot of issues, a lot of problems we may have in big projects, because as we have commented in previous sessions, we solve integration issue in massive projects with a lot of KNX lines, as has been explained before. We can integrate many other technologies. We have SymBacknet Modbus, but also HTTP. We can integrate with MQTT, with many other protocols, HDL, many other protocols. You have all this information here. But also in a different layer, we can also interface with another solutions, like for example, the property management systems in a hotel, because it's important to integrate also these different vectors, we can say, in a project. We need to know, for example, in a hotel, if the room is checked in or not, because we may change the profiles, the temperature profiles, for example, for set points. We can change the different scenarios. If it's the first time a customer enters in a room, maybe we have to trigger a welcome scenario. And if it's not the first time, maybe when the customer goes out of the room, we need to know this event, because we may store the scenario and maybe trigger it again when the customer is again in the room. So we need to know these kind of things. So in this way, what the BMS can do is to integrate all this data that are considered important or interesting, that coming from this kind of management systems for hotel, for hospitality sector. We have a lot of, as you can see, explain some of these drivers in the knowledge base. I know there are others that can be integrated, but I will start with the typical solution. This Fidelio Oracle, Fidelio Opera integration is one of the most important in terms of number of license that includes this driver. We need to install this as it's explained here. We have seen this before, so I will not lose time on this. And it's also important how is the integration done. So I will go directly to this integration of Fidelio Opera for you to understand that this schema, this image is resuming what I am telling you. We need to communicate the top of both systems. In this case, this is the software with a specific driver, the IFC driver, with using a FIAS protocol, a FIAS protocol with our NETx BMS server. The NETx BMS platform is certified by Fidelio Oracle solution. So we are a driver, we are an agent that can communicate with their software, and they have certified our solution to do so. But it has to be done in the top. We are not communicating the room itself or some element in the room with the devices in the room. No, we link software with software. Okay, this is the first approach. It has, it needs some configuration from the Fidelio integrator. So there is some software that has to be integrated and so on and so. But what we just have to do is to define the room structure in the hotel. So this is what I will do. Directly go to my BMS platform and go to this module to do this integration. Okay, let's go to the module that we already have installed, and we go to Fidelio Opera, that is in the top almost. There is a driver configuration also necessary because we need to give the IP address. Imagine, no? It's just an example. Where is the Fidelio, the IFC driver? No, where is the software installed? Okay, let's say in this IP address. We don't have this to test, but it's just a simulation. So let's say okay for the driver configurations. I will not restart now. I will restart later. So let's go then to room definitions. And the really only thing we have to do is this, is to tell which are the number of the rooms, number of the building, if you want, number of the floor, if you want to classify by floors, is not necessary, okay? Because maybe this will affect our structure, but it's okay. We can also order by floors. And then just create a structure that can be done also, of course, in Excel. This is a table that can be sent to Excel as any other. But, well, let's do it very easy this way. The room number is a key. Is a key that has to be respected. If the Fidelio software has a specific room numbering, we have to respect this room number here. But we should synchronize this with the Fidelio integrator, because it's interesting for us to also save time. So if we can respect this room structure, it will be helpful, because as you will see, we will not necessary to use the aliases for this, because these items will have the floor and room numbering correct. So it's interesting to have less work to do than to add work. So just adding this last data that is optional, I repeat, just the room number is enough. But it takes only a few seconds to do this. So what we are going to do is this. In a big hotel, Excel is the best way to do this. So I will save all and now just restart the server. So you will see, just doing this table with the room numbers or room names, we will get a lot of information from every room. And in terms of items that we will have in our BMS platform, so we will be able to make whatever integration it's necessary. So manually, so we will do these things manually. So for example, if we had a Boolean that is the check-in, check-out of a room, we may do things with this. If this value is false, the set point will be this. If the value is true, the set point will be that, whatever. No, this is just for you to understand. Maybe another option is to use a lot of information in our visualization. If imagine the responsible for cleaning the rooms in a floor has a tablet, maybe he or she can see the name of the customer, the name of the guest for every room, the nationality of the language of the guest for every room. So it's automatically communicating with the guest in the different ways, for example. Also, it's possible, as you will see, to interfere, to change some values from our systems, for example, from NETx to Fidelio. So normally we read data from Fidelio. It's important to get what are the dates, check-in, check-out dates, the Boolean value check-in, check-out, and all these things. Let me show you, because we have already the item tree fully operative. Opening here, we have a new branch that is Fidelio. So I can show you. Okay, it's not connected, of course, because we do not have that server with Fidelio. But we have our hotel separated by floors, by rooms, and every single floor and room has a lot of information related to this room. So it's very interesting because, for example, we have our building, level number, room number, description, count for the guest that has used this room, the name, the language, if it's a VIP, ID, and this is the most interesting, if it's checked or not checked, this room. So we can use, for example, this in the future in our visualization. This is an item that is for us perfect structure, because the only change from this item to any other about every single room is the floor number, that is 2 times here, and the room number. So we do not need to include this in the alias because we have already the right name for this and the right structure, because it's offered by Fidelio, for example. So it's very interesting that we are saving time. We don't need to use alias. We can just put the information true or false if this room is checked or not checked, for example. That's very interesting. Also, the language can affect our system, because we may change in the visualization, as you will see. I will show you last day the texts for the user interface. It can be in English, it can be in German, in Spanish, in Japanese, in French, or wherever. Because of this value, it's possible to change that language, because we can consider this as a key for that as a variable. We can change the text. So if you are controlling your room, you can get information in your language, because this language is considered, for example, in Fidelio. Also, the room status, as you can see in the properties of these elements, you can see a lot of elements, but take a look on this access right. This is property of every item. Normally, it's only readable. There's a lot of information that is just coming from Fidelio. But there is one specific one, this, that can be also changed, because it's also writable. So, for example, you can change the room status, or you customize different room status for your hotel. For example, the do not disturb, the makeup room status. It can come from the field devices, and it can change this. Imagine we can write. I will show you number 5, for example. The status is 5, so it can change this value. Okay. It's also explained in our knowledge base what are the different status. So you can get this here. The room status is very important information, which can also be changed from the server side. The developer specifies the following predefined values, but this is only the predefined room states. However, it's possible to specify additional room states for whatever reason. So we can, we can change this status. And also here, it was a question from a customer that was very interesting for us, because we had a customer that asked from Mexico, I remember, and has an end customer owner of many hotels there in Mexico and also in the United States that has really troubles with the hotel with some um, issues, some problems about illegal uh, illegal behaviors from some part of the staff, let's say. So people in the reception of the hotels were considering rooms in maintenance mode, but in order to sell the rooms under under the desk, we can say. So they wanted to know if it was possible. It's possible with our solutions to detect this kind of behaviors, and we studied that thing, and it was of course was possible because the room status was put under maintenance mode, so we get this information, and we also could know if the room was in use in terms of number of lights on, if it was presence in the room, the temperature, etc., etc. So we could tell the customer in Mexico that with the integration of our solutions, it's possible to detect this behavior. So normally we think on energy efficiency, and we think on management of the hotel, but sometimes the reason to install this kind of solutions is maybe different. So you never know what is the real application for our BMS. But the question is that we are flexible. We can be applied in many different for many different reasons. Of course, energy efficiency, user experience is the normal reason for installing these kind of solutions for hotels, but also can be another different one. So the combination of all these advantages is one big reason to sell, no, to convince the customers to use this our BMS platform for this hotel integration. So okay, what's happening with our Fidelio software? We get the possibility to receive information about check-in, check-out of the hotels. No, another drivers, for example, for this application can be, for example, let me show you. Typical Protel. Protel is also possible. Infor is also possible. RMS and BHP. So depending on the hotel change, they can use one or another. But this is a specific one driver that is very interesting because this char solution is also a software itself that can integrate hundreds of BMS. So if you combine char, if you include the char module, you may find a way to integrate whatever kind of PMS. So it's for us, it's not necessary really now to integrate hundreds of PMS because the char is acting as a gateway between different PMS and our BMS. So it's very interesting also to take a look on this PMS integration. I will not spend time on this, but just to comment you that maybe if you have hotel project, maybe you can try to think about integrating also char software, and then our BMS will be compatible with any kind of PMS solution. So it's just to comment this. Of course, we can integrate Protel. If you, instead of Fidelio, you have Protel, you come to the BMS, you have the module, the Protel module, with the room definitions is exactly the same. So room number, building name, floor name, and description. In fact, we can copy this, copy from one table to another. So it's the same. And then it's just to save, and you will see how easy it is to get the Protel driver also configured, because it's just the same information. So it's very simple. So let's take a look on this. For that, So after restarting, we will see the result as a new driver, for example, for hotel management. Okay. So some seconds for this. And then we'll see the results after restarting our Protel driver. Okay. Now it makes no sense to have both in the same project. I'm just showing you this, but it's interesting to see how easy it is to do this kind of integrations. Before we go to the door lock system integration and so on. So Protel, maybe we need module to put, yes, an IP again. That was my mistake because I thought it was not necessary for this driver again, but it's also necessary. So it's a similar driver, but it's the same. Now, again, we have to restart the server, but it will be faster. We'll see this in Protel. About licensing, we need an extra module. If you need to integrate some of these drivers, you need to ask for this specific driver. So it's not the time to deal about commercial things, but just for you to understand. This has a fixed cost. It doesn't mind if you have 1 room or 1,000 rooms in the hotel. It has a fixed cost, but it has a variable number of data points that are spent per room. So if you have 100 rooms, you have to consider 5 data points from your license that will be spent from this module per room. So 200 rooms hotel will need 1,000 data points extra if you need the integration with Fidelio. It means only 5 items, but you get much more information from Fidelio driver. So it's not consider all the items that you get, but only 5 per room. But you have to consider that, because if you only think on your lights and shutters and HVAC data points from KNX and your backnet or your Modbus, and you don't consider these 1,000 data points needed for the 200 rooms hotel, you will need to upgrade your license afterwards. So it's important to understand this. Okay. So then I have the Protel now driver, and it's the same idea, but specifically for Protel. It's so similar than Fidelio. Okay, it's so similar. Okay, because I think it's based on the same protocol. In my opinion, the FIAS protocol is also used by Protel. It's the idea I have, but maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's really similar. And then we have more modules for that. The BHP, it's also possible here. This is hotel management. Okay, everything is mixed here, so you have to know what you are doing. QLite or BHP are hotel management systems. Fidelio, Protel. Okay. So another things that are interesting to integrate is the door lock system. So we go again to the information. So we have also information about door access systems integration. And we have mainly 3 different kind of drivers, native drivers in our server. If you need to integrate Salto, that is a Spanish company, but it's very well known in the world, or it's part of ASA Abloy, of course, like Vingcard, it's also part of ASA Abloy, or Kaba Saflock integration, that's also very well known. These 3 protocols, these 3 systems can be integrated in our BMS platform in a native way. There are many other door lock systems that uses an API that also you can contact our colleagues to know if it's possible to do this integration, as some of you is asking about specific integration in terms of BMS, but also for door access systems. But we have to understand how this works. I will put an example with Salto, for example, to start. How to integrate Salto door locks is the tutorial, okay? And again, we have to think globally about this integration, because the door lock itself maybe has a ZigBee interface. It has a wireless communication, but you don't have to think about how to communicate my door lock device with my KNX or Modbus or BACnet devices in the room. You don't have to think this way. You have to think globally. We have a BMS that is communicated with all my rooms on all my systems in the hotel. And we have some door locks that are also integrated somehow with their own infrastructure. And this is what you can see here. We get events by ZigBee. And for example, Salto has some gateways, some nodes that are communicating ZigBee with the doors, with a specific amount of door locks in alambric or wireless devices. And these nodes, these gateways, are connected using the IP infrastructure. So what all these nodes are connected with is with a software. It's a Salto server software that it's specifically used for the configuration and for the storage of the database related to these door locks. Of course, any access control system has their own database, their own software for managing, for creating the different door lock definitions, all these things. But what we do to integrate these door lock events with our BMS platform is a specific software that has to be installed together with the Salto server software that is called, in this case, the Salto event stream. So we need to know if this the software that these door locks are integrated is compatible with this Salto event stream, and if so, we will get this communication. So, but it's done in the top. The connection between the door locks and our KNX devices is not done for each room independently. It's done in the top layer of both systems in our BMS that is communicated with their software specifically used for this event streaming. We need to understand this because we have like two pyramids, we can say. In our building automation pyramid, we have the BMS. In their door lock pyramid, they have the event stream. Both softwares of both systems are communicated top of one pyramid to the top of the other pyramid, not in the bottom. Okay, because if we do it in the bottom, we will need hundreds of gateways from ZigBee to KNX, for example, and this is not necessary. And because of that, we are saving a lot of money. Okay, so it's very important to understand what to do to integrate Salto, for example, or Kaba or Vingcard. It's very easy. Just go to the BMS, and we need again to go to install the module. Of course, we have it, Salto module here. Driver configuration is very simple because we just need to know which is the port for the connection, okay, because it's automatically done. The event stream is, I think it's a TCP connection or something like this. It's a specific driver, but using a well-known transport layer for the information, and I think it's TCP. So nothing to do here, just go to Salto and door definitions. It's very simple, just door definitions. Door name, so you can put here 0101, for example, or door whatever. It's the same name that has to be included in the Salto software, okay? External ID. Well, some of these are not mandatory, so you can see this in the documentation, but we can copy paste. This is the same. Imagine that this is the door, and you can create a path, for example, NETx hotel if necessary, and by floor if you want. I will not create any path in a part of the NETx hotel because I'm not interested to order by floors. A description if necessary, but it makes sense that it's the door of that room. If you want the data persistent or not, and it will be synchronized if you use a backup server. So it's just do this and maybe fast make copy paste of this. Only a few seconds, so you will see the result. And let's do it for the third and fourth floor. Third and fourth floor. Here and here. In Excel, if you have 1,000 rooms, I'm sure you will go to Excel, but this is fast here. So I will save and see the result. Of course, we need to restart the server. Why we need to reinitialize the server several times? Because we are changing the item tree. The item tree has to be generated. If it is going to be changed in the item tree in terms of new data points, in this case, most of the cases has to be restarted. As before, we have to, if we need to integrate the door lock devices in our BMS, it's very interesting also, again, because we will know what's happening with the door, if the door is open or not. So maybe we do not need specific devices to know if the door is open or is not open, if it's locked from the inside or not. So for example, if I lock the door, I can trigger the do not disturb. It's clear, don't disturb because it's locked inside. If I open the door, I can trigger a scenario or whatever, okay? So we need a specific module for the license if you are going to integrate also these kind of things. And again, it has a small fixed cost independently the number of doors you may integrate from 1 to whatever number. It is the same cost for the module, but it has a variable amount of data points per door that are going to be spent for the license point of view. 5 per door, independently of the number of data and of the number of drivers you are using. Exactly the same as it happens for the BMS, for the room management system. So 5 per room. Some of you are is asking in the chat that 5 data points per room, per door in this case, will be necessary. So again, in my XIO driver, I have my Salto system in my hotel, all the doors together. That's good. It's not a big amount of doors. And a lot of information that can be obtained from a Salto event stream. Maybe not all this information is implemented. This is just default values, maximum amount of values that we can get there. Different users, event ID, date time, whatever. If it's an exit or not, the type of user, whatever. All this information is very interesting. Okay. If you want, we can integrate another driver for door lock systems, for example, Kaba Saflock or Vingcard. It doesn't mind. We have Vingcard and Vingcard Web. Also possible, but Vingcard, for example, driver configuration needs to be specified a dummy server IP address. I will not restart now because I want to take the chance to write here the room definitions, room number, path, description. You know, we have it. Maybe we can use copy paste this here. I hope it's not exactly not the same data because the path is the different columns. Okay, I will save time if I just delete this. In fact, the path is not necessary also because it will be inside the driver, but let me try to fix this. Copy paste sometimes is good, sometimes it's not perfect, but I save a bit of time. I think it's faster if I do this way than trying to do it again one by one. Well, maybe not. Depends on the how fast you are copy pasting and trying to be fast. Okay, description is optional, so we can save and restart. So what I want to show you here is that you will get different amount of data. Maybe with Vingcard is only 5 or 10. Whoops, yes, I understand that the file is not good, but let's check. Maybe the table is not correct format and will give an error, so I have to do it well. I hope not. Okay, let's check. If it's working or not. Take some seconds, but will be in a few seconds again operative. I can close this tables. And I will open the item tree when it's again active. Okay, a few seconds and we can go ahead. As far as I remember, there's some drivers for door lock systems that gives you 5 data points, another 15 data points, that was the Salto, and another 10 data points. So NETx consider 5. It doesn't mind the brand manufacturer, but we have here my Salto. My Vingcard is not here because I made a mistake doing the configuration of the table, so it was not good. No, it was not. Okay. Do it wrong, do it 2 times. My grandmother was always right. I'm sorry. Vingcard, room definition, store. Maybe it's just a number. What we can put here. And it was the mistake was that, not. Okay. And now it should work. So 5 data points per room and 5 data points per door. Okay, it's the same idea. An extra app that you may need for doing this. Okay. We are just to go back to the web manager again to see this GRMS solution, but I want to show you in 2 different ways. But afterwards, let me show you this, and then I can go again to the web manager and show you our My Smart Suite app that is really fantastic. as the first approach, just to show you that we can do this BMS internally without the need of any PMS software. We can have a PMS software if we need it just to know if the room is checked in or not, if we need just to know the name of the guest and the language of the guest. To use it internally for the hotel management, and to use it also directly to trigger different actions depending on the check-in, check-out, maybe informing some part of the staff about the name of the guest or the language that they talk, or maybe to interfere with the visualization about the text changing depending on the language. This is also possible. So the first approach for the next app I am going to show you in the web manager, the GRMS app, that is internally called My Smart Suite, is about how can we get all this information on from one side. If we have Fidelio or whatever other PMS integrated directly, or if we do not have these Fidelio drivers, or we do not need this because the hotel is small or whatever, we can get this information, we can change this information also directly. But I will show you afterwards. Let me first see if we get Vingcard at the end, Vingcard elements. I think so, because we have here the drivers. But yes, we have now Vingcard, Vision Line, this is the software. I have my hotels, I have my rooms. In this case, the first 0 is not included. So if you have less than 10 floors, it will work. If not, we will have to go to the aliases, I think. But it's okay. Only 5 things for the Vingcard. It's more simpler than Salto, that give us for every single room 15 data, different things. But from the license point of view, only 5 items are considered per room. Okay, so this is the way that we can integrate our Fidelio PMS systems. You can see here hotel management systems or door access systems. So integration of all these elements in our BMS platform. So to finish this session, I will open again. I will close by mistake the Server Studio. I will open it again. I will show you the GRMS. So we go back again to the web manager. So we have it here, I think. Open. Yes, still open. I will use my admin and change my user and password. Okay, and then I will go to GRMS. This is the app, GRMS app. Okay, so here we will see the rooms if we have it. Okay, here we can configure things about the rooms. So room configuration, for example, I can also configure the configuration of the app. If we auto-generate the rooms, how can we do this? Because if we have Fidelio, it will be done by the software itself. So if we do not have Fidelio, we have to do it manually. But if we have Fidelio, it should be automatically appearing here. So, but I think I will show you how to do it manually first, and then we can take a look on this. So for this, I prefer to go to the BMS platform. That is here. And go to Fidelio and say we do not have rooms. We are not using Fidelio. So convert to comment, better than deleting. Okay. And I will delete the server also. Again for Protel. I think I did it for Protel also. So no Protel, no Fidelio, no Protel, because I want to show you how basic, how easy it is to do the basic configuration also if we do not have a BMS interface. Comment, save, and then I can restart again the studio. So you will see that we do not have any BMS. That's what I want now. But going back to the web manager, sorry, going back to the web manager, we can work with the GRMS. So first we need to create the room structure. Now you will see GRMS. Okay. So here you will see the rooms, but we need to create this room. So there is nothing. So we have to create the rooms. Here we just have our folders, nothing in our main folder. So we have to create the rooms. A folder, hotel, for example, and then hotel room. We could have also template for this hotel room, so we can do it with templates. But now, let me close the ETS because I opened by mistake. But now, name is room, whatever, no, 0101. And we can select check-in, check-out items, language, and guest name items. I will not do because as I do not have Fidelio or whatever, because if I have Fidelio, I have to go to my XIO. Well, I have Fidelio, but it's not okay. It's still here. It's good because maybe I have to restart the server again. If you have Fidelio, you go here and you select the check-in, check-out. Okay. Where is my item? Room check. This. Okay. If you have Fidelio, you do this. You select this for room check, the language. Guest language, you will get this information for sure. And the name, for example, guest name. 3 things. So if you do this, the system will work automatically and will show you this automatically. I don't want to do this. So let me create the room, but without these items. Okay. Because I don't want to use Fidelio for this example. I think I need to restart the server again. Because it was not considering my last change. So I need to save and restart the server. Sorry for this because I was thinking it will work, because I want to show you the most simpler way to get this, and then of course if you get Fidelio, it's automatically. But we can do this work fast because we can create a template. If you have 2,000 rooms, it's easy per floor number, room number, and you get very easy the creation of all these items, because the items are also organized by floor and room, so it's very simple to do this. But the first approach, I think, it should be without Fidelio to show how easy it is to do this. So I guess after restarting, we will get no Fidelio and no Protel BMS included in our project. So some seconds. Okay, so let me check. We shouldn't have Fidelio, no Fidelio, and no Protel. There's Salto and Vingcard yet, but it's not affecting my example now. So again, okay, I log in. I have my GRMS. Okay, my hotel is one room. Sorry, there is one room here, and as you can see here, in the configuration of the room, there was nothing. Hotel, room, no items. Okay, and I will do exactly the same for the rest of the rooms. I will copy paste. I will do creation of each room manually, of course. Have to and then I don't know if we can, yes, multi-edit mode. Maybe I can. Yeah, but I cannot copy paste 3 times. Okay. Copy paste. And without definition of the items, because the system will create all these items. This is what I was wanting to tell you. The system will create the items, so just create the rooms without items on it, because we do not have, in principle, Fidelio, we do not have Protel or whatever other specific BMS. But we want and we can use our GRMS module as a BMS. So this is what I was trying to explain before. It is better to see it so you will understand what I am trying to tell you. Okay, 0401. And the last, okay, 0402. So just after creating these rooms and without indicating any kind of items for check-in, for language, and for guest, I will show you the result. I will go to the home here, but I have some issue with the database, I think. Well, it will work again if I restart. This is happening because I'm sure that database here is not connected. Okay, but when this is connected again, it would not have any problem. Okay, but what I wanted to show you is that we have a module GRMS in my hotel, my 8 rooms, and some items that the system is creating by itself. If you don't indicate a GRMS system, this will be created automatically. And if I go here to my GRMS, in the first part of this, not in the configuration, in the user view, well, user means for the reception responsible. You see that this room, all of the rooms are vacant, okay, are not checked in. But we have a button, active button, where we can do this. Okay, let's give a room to Julio, and he speaks Spanish. If I do this, now the status is occupied, and there is a name and a language. And this is also, of course, here. And then in the visualization, if Julio is logged in, and maybe if we have considered the language of Julio, maybe he will get this information in the visualization. So his visualization will be in Spanish. And also the name is good because the responsible for cleaning will know the name of the guest, etc. So this is the first approach. If I do checkout, we are out, and then the data will be again released. For every single room, we have this. First approach is this. Okay, so imagine room 0402. For example, one of you that was asking, Mr. Lars, that you're there. Hello. I don't know, Norwegian. I don't know where you are, Lars. From Norway, let's say. And then room 0402 is here, and Mr. Lars, whatever, you can put also a family name from Norway, is using this room. So this is the first approach. And we didn't have to create any kind of item or to link with any kind of item because these items are created by default, okay? Another thing is the bring your own device solution. It was not active here, but we can activate it here. Bring your own device functionality. What this will bring to us? Okay, well, this is related to the visualization, so I will not change anything here. It's not for now. I can change a logo, background image, whatever. Okay, also what is the visualization endpoint, whatever, that's okay. But just saving this, activating the bring your own device functionality that also need a lot of configurations. It's not automatic because we need to also to consider the cloud portal. We need to consider variables for every visualization project. But what we get in this case is a QR code. So you are prompted, okay, make sure that your server is assigned to a project in the cloud portal. As I was mentioning you, it's not automatic. So we have the newest version of the cloud portal also, okay. But the difference is when I do a checking and I put here Julio and the language, when the bring your own device functionality is working, we get a QR code, as you can see. System is creating a QR code that should be much faster than now, but you will get a QR code, and then you will see that how with this QR code scanned by your smartphone, you will get access to a specific application in your iOS or Android system. You get the possibility to control your room with this QR code. Also can be printed because there is a report that can be also generated, and they can be printed and sent to you by email or whatever. So sorry, but because the QR code should be created, I will try again. Maybe the hotel don't want me as a guest, but it's okay. You will see. At the end, it has to create very fast, much faster than now, a QR code. Okay, it's just my computer issues. So it's really interesting because you will see that with this QR code, we have shown this in Light and Building Fair, for example, the system is recognizing which is the room, and then it's also recognizing maybe the language and maybe the text can be changing depending on the user. But this has to be explained in the visualization part, where we are going to use a lot of variables also. When variables can be a workspace variable, so depending on the overall project of this number of the room, it will change all these things, the language and the room items to be controlled with this visualization and so on. So I don't know what this is lasting so much. It's crazy. It's a bit tired today. Okay. But normally it should be 1 second to get this QR code. Something maybe with my computer that is not helping. I'm sorry for this. But, you know, kind of things happens sometimes. Should be automatically generated, so I'm sorry for this. You will see a QR code. What you can see is that that is trying to to create it, but maybe we have to check. Maybe it's related to the database we have seen before. So now it's working database. So it's curious. No, why it's not working? Maybe because we have to create that project in a cloud portal. I don't know. I really don't know if it's this the reason or not. But the QR code is not being generated. I thought it was more easy to see. So this module is really interesting. Okay, module is really interesting because we get, or we should get a QR code. So you get the concept. Thank you, but it's interesting. So let me finish today explanation doing a review of what we get from the web manager, what we can tell you, okay, about the web manager. We have seen the alarms. You remember alarms? There is the first approach is the alarms list here, and also the alarms configuration. So we can also trigger the alarm list from the visualization. So it's possible to see this alarm list from the visualization. And also we can get information in, and part of our database is storing all this information. So it's important to understand that all this information is being historized in the alarm list, okay? So the alarms has their own nature. It's a different thing than an event. An event, conditional event, it's similar. So something happens, so I do something. This is an event, but an alarm is just an alarm. And if you want to define an action, it's possible, but it's not obligatory because the alarm itself has its own nature. So significance. The trendings were also created here. Maybe we have more data. We can check after some hours. We should get some more data from temperatures, for example. Let me check this. Temperature comparison. No, from yesterday to today is not interesting, but the west phase shade, maybe it's possible to see more data from temperatures. Should have gone up all these temperatures for these 4 rooms. Real data, so we can see the plot here, the trend here for today. Yes, we have some data here, so it's nice. We can also do some zoom here, for example. We can do zoom in a specific part, maybe refresh and get this data. That's good. And dynamically, you can select which of the temperatures you want to see for the comparison. Okay. Also week. You can see in the week, in the month, you get less data, but daily you get some data. Not so much, but some data. That's good. I think it's by default with a ratio for every single hour. Remember that you can get a table with all the data. That you get, it's a ratio of the data. It's not all the data in this. Maybe we have to configure this without aggregation. No aggregation, don't give me a resume. I want to see all the data. So this is the thing I would like to have. So in this way, without aggregation, we may have much more data. That's what I wanted to have. Okay, much more data without aggregation, many information, all the data that has been coming from the different temperatures, and this is what I want. Okay, that's good. Dynamic, as you can see, it's dynamic. The axes are changing dynamically. And then, of course, if we get a table, it's not a resume. It's all the data for every single room in columns that you can export to Excel and so. So trending is working fine. Every single room has its own temperature here also, so you can take a look on every single room temperature, but as a table or as a plot with aggregation or without aggregation with all the data. Okay, so this is interesting. Again, come to zoom and get this or refresh, and this automatically adapting to the data we have. But we missed the scheduler. So I will do some example for the schedules. Scheduler can be different things. I will do a test first. I will do a test for the scheduler. I can define also holidays here that we did yesterday in the BMS. Okay, as you can see, yesterday I was defined as the NETx day, as a holiday, but I did this, you may remember if you participate in the sessions here in holiday definitions. It can be done here, or maybe it can be done also here in the web manager. So it's possible to add here today it's BMS day, for example. So this has changed. Also, the data, I have to close and open because in this table automatically. So it's internally linked with this holiday definitions table automatically. But okay, what I want to show you is to create a schedule. Okay. So let me create it in a test, a specific, for example, start stop time event. So the control of one light, for example. So calendar for a specific light. It's an example. Okay. So enable or not, this also, it's interesting because we can manage this enable or disable of a calendar. It's possible to manage using logics. We have, and I haven't told you, but we have a specific ID for this calendar that is this number. This number is a specific and unique number for my calendar. This is what we call the WID. Okay, WID is this identification, and we can also handle this. And we want to enable or disable the calendar. It can be done using this number. Right? If you know the WID of this calendar, it's possible to do this remotely, we can say, or depending on whatever other event or whatever, because it's interesting that the calendar can be working or not. So we are enabling this. The date, I will not configure the date now, the timing now, because I want to show you the result live. And then we have actions. We have to create actions. What will happen when the start date and time arises? And what will happen if you want to create a stop action? That makes sense because it's a start stop time event. So we should create a start and a stop actions, because if it's only start action, don't do a start stop time event. Create just one time event. That is a different possibility. But okay, I want to turn on the light at specific time and turn off this light at another specific time. This is the most simple thing we can do. Different actions, of course. If you don't select different actions, you will do the same actions and both times. That makes nonsense for me, but it's okay. So start action and stop actions. Okay, let's select, no, first create this action, because we do not have any action to select here. So create an action that can be light on, okay, for example, and here we will have a lot of possibilities to select. It is not just a comparison like before for a condition. No, it's not a condition. This is an action. An action is whatever kind of X command. Let's say we will see this tomorrow. Even your own customized X command. You can see different folders. Sometimes are in Spanish. Cursos. That's Spanish. Training. It's in English. And other things. There is a lot of things, even for our own use. So you have the possibility to create your own commands to be triggered from this. But of course, we want to do the most basic thing in this example, that is to write a telegram. So to write an event. So the command that I have selected here from all this catalog of X commands, even some customized ones, is just to write. I just want to write a value to a specific item. Right. So what is the item? So let's say I will go to my alias folder because it's easy for me. I will select this room 0101 and I will say central off. Okay, I will turn on all the lights for this room. And the value, if I want to turn on the light, is I can put 1, I can write true, it will be understood by the system. It's a string, so it can. If I write true, of course, true, not this, a different word. True, or I will maybe better select 1, it's done. This is an action, but can have multiple actions inside. You can do several things. Turn on the light, send me an email, because it's possible to select here whatever other option, and one of these options are Messenger. I can send an email, I can publish a tweet, I can send an SMS or whatever. So it's really sophisticated because you can do several things. But this is the most basic example I want to show you. So let's do it simple. Just turn on a light. So an action can be complex, can have several things to do, but in this case will be only one. With or without delay. It's also possible to put a delay here, but it's okay without delay. We are using a calendar. So it's normally executed exactly the time you want to do it. So delay, in this case, for this action makes nonsense, but maybe for other actions makes sense, but not in this case. Okay, I will save it and select, because I had to create it before. Now I select it, light on, stop action. Let's do it. It's light off, but I can copy paste because it will take less time if I copy and paste this and just change what I have to change, because, okay, it should be a different name, understood, but the command should be exactly the same for the same item. So it's much faster to do this. Just send a 0 to the lights, central off. So then, to show you how it works, I will turn on the camera. I'm not sure if you can see properly the lights. Let me put here a timing. As you can see, this is for the first. It's on. Let me turn them off. Let me turn them off because they are on. Okay, and then finally, let me put an hour here. 18:30 seconds. And let me put here, it's 2:19. No, I'm late. Now I'm late. Okay. 45 seconds. Save. And in 3, 2, 1, execute it exactly at that time. You can see the time here, the bottom right. So in less than 10 seconds, the calendar will be off. This is a timing, a calendar. That's perfect, working really fine. But also you can see the calendars we have here in this. Let me close. And show you the folder with all this content here. So if you want to see the calendar itself, this is just a definition, but we have here a button, show calendar. So you will see my calendar. In terms of well, weekly programming, it was just 15 seconds, so you cannot see it almost. Yeah, here it is, my calendar. Just okay, calendar for light sample. Only 15 seconds is not enough to see. But if you see in agenda, for example, it's easier. You can see it. Definition for this calendar for every day. Okay, agenda or timeline day, for example, maybe also timeline day for tomorrow, or maybe monthly basis. So you have here monthly definition for a calendar. In my definition, I didn't exclude holiday. So it happens, the holidays were ignored, but today was holiday. So if I say exclude, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't work. So if I show you now, the calendar today was excluded, so it should disappear, the calendar for today. Showing you the month, for example. Now it was excluded. So it shouldn't work today because it was holiday, but I didn't realize to exclude it, so it worked. So now you see the calendar. This again can be also seen from the end customer if the end customer has enough permissions to see the calendars. So this is how to create an event. Tomorrow we will again create another kind of events because we have possibility to create conditional events that are really very important and interesting. So we will start with this conditional events, and we will finish explaining all the things we have here in the web manager window. But finally, I want to end the explanation just talking you about Explorer, because when you are in a specific app, you can see different folders here. For example, alarms, the configuration. You can see different folders as I was telling you. But if I open, for example, the reports, there is nothing because I am not in the report app. If I try to open trendings, I only see folders, but nothing inside because there is no alarms on this. Okay, I can only see the elements that are related to this app. So in this case, only alarms. I can see the alarm because I am in the alarm module. It happens the same with the trendings, for example. The trendings, you will only see trendings. If I try to show you alarms here, you will not see a different thing than the folders. Nothing, because there are not trendings in these folders. There is nothing inside these folders. Okay, no data because there are no trendings in this. But in Explorer app, you see everything. You see everything. You see the reports. You see all the things included in the folder tests. In Explorer, you see everything because Explorer is normally used to export all this stuff. Okay, everything. I want to export this, for example, and I will include it in the documentation. So I will get a zip file and I will put it in the Dropbox link. So my colleagues, when they wanted to share the link with you, they have it now. If they share the link with all this information, you will get our examples also included in this because you will get this file that is here. So I just showing folder and I am on live moving this to my Dropbox so you will getting this in real time. So with this last example, we finished the session for today. We have seen how to create a BMS integration with Fidelio, for example. It's very simple, just to create the room definition. How we can also integrate door lock systems, explaining how it works. The GRMS, it's very interesting. So we can also have check-in, check-out information, even without the need of a specific room. Let me check if we have the QR code at the end, created or not. No, something is happening with, I need to check it because it should work. But it's normal that if it's not working, it's because there is a problem in my computer. It's not a problem with the BMS. So it's normal that it's still not working. So we can get this information. So it's good. It's very simple. And also, we have continued taking a look on this web manager. That is fantastic because you have management of your solutions. So that's a good point. So thanks so much again for your attention. I can say goodbye from the camera. So I'm here. Thanks so much. And then see you tomorrow, and have a nice day.